I'm such a baby, but it's like, it hit me. I was like, he loved me when nobody loved me. He loved me when I was sitting there trying to lose weight to impress people who didn't care anything about me. Hey you guys, this is your girl Jasmine Yvonne, and this video, if you guys read the title, is going to be my video on how I particularly got saved and how it is for me being a newly believer. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys like it, and thank you guys so much for watching. So let's get started. Okay, so I honestly remember the date that I really was like, I need to get saved. I don't remember the exact date though that I actually got saved, but I remember when the thought came into my mind that I needed to give myself to Christ. And it was around like August 25th, I would say, or like the end of August, that like 25th or 24th, but I think it was the 25th because it was a Sunday. And I was at this boy that I was talking to house at the time. I had spent his birthday with him, and his friend had came over, and they were talking about how his boss was crazy. Like, his friend was like, my boss is crazy, she canceled work and she thought the stock market was going to crash and stuff like that. And I was just listening to them, and she was like, yeah, she thinks the world's going to end like September 23rd. I know we all probably heard. If you didn't hear, it was like this big thing that September 23rd the world's going to end, like Jesus was going to come back, and like the stock market was gonna crash. Like, so much was supposed to happen in September, and it was like all this crazy stuff was just gonna happen. So I was just listening, and I remember when he said that, I was like my heart kind of just dropped. At first I wasn't thinking that deep about it, but then when I got home, it was like on my mind, like so intense, to the point where I got stressed out. I was literally like in my bed, sick, like wanting to like throw up. Like, I felt sick. I was already kind of sick anyway because I had wisdom teeth problems, so I was already sick from that. And then it was just like this thought in my mind, like I was like, what if the world does end? Like, what if he does come back? Like, am I even ready? Like, I was like, am I ready? Like, I was really like, it just hit me in the gut, almost like I'm not ready. And I was literally like sick, stressed, like literally in my room. I lost so much weight at the time, like, because I was so stressed out thinking about it. And then at that moment, I just was thinking, like, that whole week and like time that I took just kind of just being like in my room, just kind of like covered all depressed. I just was thinking kind of about my life and all things that I've done. I really wasn't living for Christ, how I really wasn't living a good life, how I really was just a sinner. I just thought about things that I know that I started to think were okay, and I knew that they weren't okay. Like, I like petty lies. Like, I was really bad at like lying about little stuff, like especially like with my mom. Normally it was with my mom. It would be like, she's like, what time you go to work? And I'm just like, I know when I have to go to 5. I'm like, I have to go at 12. Like doing stuff like that. Or she's like, are you off? And I'm just like, no, I work. And then I'm like disappear the whole day knowing that I'm off. I would do stuff like that. I was bad on sometimes gossiping about girls or people with my friends, or like my friend would send me a picture and we would like talk about people, like, oh, why she got that hairdo, or why her hair like that, or why she wearing that, stuff like that. I was really bad at that. I got really bad with cussing, and I wasn't even a cusser growing up. I was always that one person who everyone was cussing. I was like that one person who was like not cussing. And then as I got into college, hanging around people who cuss, I felt like I kind of started to cuss a lot. Not even like kind of, like it became a lot. Like, I knew I started cussing too much when I almost slipped up and like cussed in front of my mom a couple of times, and I was like, wow, I got really bad at this. Like, I'm cussing almost around my parent. Like, that's crazy. So I just kind of started doing that. And then I was in a serious relationship. I was in a relationship for 3 years, and I did have sex outside of marriage. I'm not going to come and act like I'm just so perfect. No, I did have sex outside of marriage. In my mind, I thought, well, God, it's okay. I love him. We are in a serious relationship. We're together for 3 years. So it's okay. It makes it okay. And it wasn't okay. And we ended up breaking up because I do feel like God kind of broke us up for us to see, because we were fighting and stuff a lot. So yeah, I was thinking about like things I did that, like I had anger issues when it came to like my boyfriend, and like getting annoyed with people, like me and my mom used to get into arguments sometimes, because I would just be like, I know, like almost like I know what I'm doing, I know what's best for me, I know it all, like I just know what I'm doing. Fighting with my boyfriend at the time, like the boy I was with for 3 years, we used to fight all the time, like almost like just bad, like cussing each other out, saying F you, fighting, pushing him. Like I knew I would sometimes get so mad at him that I would push him or punch him because I was so mad. And I know you guys are looking at me like, Jasmine, like I'm not going to, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like no evil person. I'm not like going around like I'm going to punch my boyfriend because he said, you know, what are you doing or something. Like he's like simple, like it was an intense argument to the point where like we would be ignoring each other and not talking to each other, and it would just blow up and we would just be cussing back and forth, and I would just get so mad, I'd like push him or like punch him in the chest. I'm just like crying, like to the point where like we're both crying because we're just so like, we love each other, but we're like, why are we like, why do we dislike each other but love each other? So it was just like a very volatile thing. And you know, and then yeah, like I told you guys, the sex before marriage, and then even before I was a virgin, I still, like, you know, we all, like, I don't say we all, but a lot of us probably did foreplay with boys when we were growing up, like foreplay, like, and I'm just gonna be real with y'all and be blunt, because I mean, I just feel like that's the best way to be, not to sugarcoat things, but foreplay as far as like he's touching you, your privates, or like fingering, and that's what we called it in high school, or like you touching him, or like you watch like some type of video, like porn type of video, or even if you don't watch porn, I'm not talking about like you have to watch like xxxrated.com, but like you could be watching a TV show like say Power or something, and they have sex scenes, like that stuff can get in your mind. Like I was bad on that. Like I loved the show Power and I would watch it, even though it was very sexual, I still would watch it. Going on Instagram, I followed a lot of people who had porn things, and you would watch that, and some things like that would kind of keep replaying in my mind. I was just kind of like, whatever, like let it just replay in my mind, not really thinking too much of it. So those were a lot of things that I struggled with, and I was just thinking about like insecurity, always worrying, always stressing myself out, caring too much about my outer appearance, caring too much about what people thought about me. Growing up, I was very insecure from like 3rd grade all the way to like through high school. I was very insecure. In elementary school, I used to get bullied about my weight because I was a bigger girl because I was short. And you know, going through puberty, you just go through this awkward phase, so your body's just very it's just very weird. So I was getting bullied. I also had braces. I had braces for 4 years. So I just was bullied. I used to always have just one friend. Nobody really liked me. Boys used to like be like, ugh, like just not liking me whatsoever. Girls didn't like me. I used to get called fat and things of that sort. I remember liking a boy. He was kind of popular, and I was talking to like a girl, and I was like, I like him. I was pretty much like, you know, I kind of like him. And she was like, you know, I don't think he likes, you know, I was like, likes what? And he was like, you know, bigger girls. So that was just stapled into my mind. Like even like in middle school, I remember having eating disorder. Like I remember eating and making myself throw up, or just not eating because I wanted to be skinny so bad. Like my whole mindset was around being skinny and being popular and having someone to notice me and to like have interest in me. You know, of course, you know, your family's like, you're beautiful, but I just wanted a boy to tell me that, or I wanted like a pretty girl to tell me that. So so much of my time was spent on trying to kind of reinvent myself so everyone would like me and people would think I'm pretty and people would think I'm this and that. So I just struggled with that a lot, and it just hit me one day. I was like, I've been living so wrong, you know, and I don't want God to be, you know, disappointed in me, and I don't want him to come back, you know, whenever he does, even though I knew that September thing was just lying. Because once you get more into your faith, you learn that anyone who says the Lord is coming this day at this time, they're lying, because no one knows, as it clearly says in the Bible, no one knows the day nor time, and no mere human, unless God came down and told him. But God already told us that he's not doing that. No one's gonna know the day or time. Is gonna know the day or time. So I already knew that was wrong, because I was like, no one knows the day or time, so you're lying. But it just kind of hit me, and I started thinking about everything that I've done in my life and everything, like my focus is, and I just realized, like, you know, if he did come today, or if he did come next month, or if he did come when I'm sleeping, you know, will I be ready? You know, have I been living for him? And it really just kind of hit me in the gut. No, I'm not ready. You know, I'm not ready. Or if I just drop dead today, or if I get in an accident or something happens to me, am I ready to meet my maker? And it just really hit me, and I was just like, no. And I just realized, like, I just realized that I was living a pointless life, that I was just kind of living for myself. I was just kind of living to please others, to try to reinvent myself for others' gratification. And I was just almost just kind of just a selfish, and just growing kind of selfish in my actions and things of that sort. And it just hit me, you know, and I took that like I took this false lie that this whoever made it, saying that that was going to happen that month. Like, I took something bad, but I turned to something. From that day forward, I just really took the time, and I was like, I have to get saved, because I was like, when I do die, I want to go to heaven, and I want to have a purposeful life. I don't want to live my life worrying all the time. I don't want to live my life trying to cater to people. I don't want to live my life trying to please other people. I want to live my life for God. I want to have confidence in myself. I want to believe in myself. I want to be humble. I want to be a selfless person. I want to just love and be loving. And I just learned from that day forth. I was like, I have to really change my life. And from that day forward, I started to just really dig into God and things like that. I started learning more about him. I started going to church. I ended up getting baptized. I started to just follow more pages, Christian-based pages, pastors, people who, young women who were around my age, who, were believers. And I just started to learn more and just get more into the word and things of that sort, because I just learned that on this earth is so short. Our time here is so short. We could live into 120, and it's still nothing compared to living in eternity with Jesus Christ. And I just learned that, your life has a purpose, and don't think it doesn't. And, and don't let old ways keep you down. I felt like I just thought so bad about myself, with confidence, not having confidence, and, then having bad relationships. I could never keep up with it. Even 3 years, our relationship ended up ending. I couldn't keep a relationship. Then I was like, I felt so bad about myself, because I was like, I'm not a virgin anymore. I was with this boy for such a long time, and then we end up, not even working out. So I just thought so bad about myself, and I just felt like, how could God love me? And then you realize that he loves you. He loved you even before you knew he loved you, and I don't want to cry, but it's like, I'm such a baby, but it's like, it hit me. I was like, he loved me when nobody loved me. He loved me when I was sitting there trying to lose weight to impress people who didn't care anything about me. He loved me when I was in my room crying because someone called me fat. He loved me when, I was out there arguing and fighting with my mom or fighting with my boyfriend. And he loved me even before I loved him. He loved me even when I didn't even know him. He loved me even when I was sinning all the time and I was just living life like it for no meaning, and it just hit me like he will always love me as long as I turn to him and I reach my hand out to him and I seek him. He will always be there for me. He will always be there and get me out of whatever scenario when I turn my life. And as soon as I turned my life around and I really gave it to him, and I really started living for him, and I dropped insecurity. I put all my confidence and everything into him. I learned that I could wake up and feel beautiful and no makeup on, because he's the one who defines my beauty. I realized that I could, I can just die to myself, and instead of, if my mom, she says something that gets on my nerves, instead of me getting like snippy with her, I just can be like, okay, mom, and just do what she asked me to, because it's like, I don't have to say something. Or instead of talking about that girl, I can die to myself and I can be like, you know what, that's not right. She didn't do nothing to me. Okay, her hair might not look like my hair. It's okay. I don't know what her struggle is. I don't know if she doesn't have any money. I don't know what's going on in her life to cause her to maybe not get her hair done. I learned that, in a relationship, I don't have to settle. I don't have to be with someone who's not saved. I don't have to be with someone who doesn't do things that I believe in, who still smokes, who still drinks, who wants to cuss and argue and stuff. I don't have to deal with that. And I don't need someone to define me or make me happy. I just learned that my happiness, my well-being, the one who takes care of me, the one who was there for me when no one even knew what was going on with me, when no one was there, even thinking about me really. He was there. He was watching over me. There's so many things that could happen to me. I could have been hurt, sick, anything, and he was there for me. And it kind of just hit me, and I was just like, when he comes back, if he comes back when I'm still on this earth, or if I'm dead and gone, and I die, I'm old lady or whatever, I just want him to look at me and say, you were going down a bad path, you were living purposely, but I want to show you, and I wanted to open your eyes and let you know that, you're not going to live forever. But don't worry, because whether you're on earth or whether you're dead and gone, I will take care of you. And I just feel like that was just something warm and fuzzy about realizing that. And now I don't fear, I don't fear death. I don't fear him coming, I don't fear what people can do to me, because I know that I have someone higher, someone who created me, someone created everything watching over me, and he'll take care of me no matter what. As long as I just turn away from my old way of thinking. So, yeah, that's really why I got saved. And I'm so sorry for getting all emotional for you guys. But that's really why I got saved because I just realized it, and it really just hit me that I was living with no purpose. That, you know, I was really like thinking about, like, you know, he you know, what if he does return, you know, and even if he doesn't return before I die, you know, if I'm an old lady or whatever happens, I still want to know that when I go and I see him, that I lived my life for him, that I didn't live for myself, that I didn't live for others, that I lived for him, that I did things for him. And I just kind of realized that, you know, I just wasn't living with any purpose, and I was living in sin. I was living thinking things that I were doing were okay, and it just really hit me. And that's really the big, you know, I know I mentioned a lot of things that I was struggling with before, but I feel like that was the big picture of it all. Was like, I realized from that day sitting in his house when they were talking that I wasn't ready. And I just feel like as believers, as women of, you know, even if you're a man watching this, but as women, you know, we kind of get wrapped into, I want to be married, I want to have this and that, but we forget that we first were married to God. We first should make sure our relationship with him is first. We should be ready. You know, we should be prepared, because, you know, we don't know how, especially, you know, our age, people dying in car accidents, people out here shooting everybody, people out here just doing crazy stuff, you know, and it's like this world is just crazy, and you just never know. And of course, you know, God forbid, I would never want you to go through anything like that, like you getting majorly injured or anyone in your family, anything like that. However, life happens, and, you know, and death and just evil doesn't have a name. It could be anyone. You could be the holiest of holiest person, you could be the evilest of evil person. Anything can happen, and I just wanted to be ready. And that's why now, you know, if you guys see scriptures on my page and things of that sort, you know, or you follow me on Instagram and you see me say motivational stuff, it's because I want all of us to be ready. I don't want anyone to go to hell. You know, I don't want any of us to go to hell and be burning up forever. Like, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. I want all of us to be flying up in heaven, praising God and living good. And I also want us to be, just know our worth, and know that we have a purpose, and know that there's someone watching over you, and there's someone who cares about you, and there's someone who loves you, and you are so much better than what you think you are. You're so much better than the parties. You're so much better than going out being half naked. You're so much better than that boyfriend who cusses you out and talking to you all crazy, or who ain't saved, who don't even want to go to church with you. You're so much better than that. You're so much better than your weight. You're so much better than your facial features. You're so much better than that. You're beautiful. God created you in his perfect picture. And don't let no one ever tell you that. Learn to trust in him, goes to him. And when you learn and give your life to him and realize that everything that you do should be for glory to him, and that you shouldn't worry about anything, you should just give it all to him, your life will be changed. And I learned that, and I feel like getting saved and hearing that conversation, even though it was just a nonsense conversation, it really changed me, because it just showed me that, you know, giving my life to him was the best thing that I could do. That's how I got saved story. And I hope that this helps someone out there. I hope that you guys, you know, maybe you can relate. Maybe you're like, you know, you're like me. You're like, I really was living with no purpose, or I really aren't ready, you know. I hope this helped you guys out. Always feel free to email me, message me on here if you had any questions, DM me on Instagram. I really try to get back to people, because I know how it is to, like, you look up to someone and you're like trying to talk to them and they're kind of like ignoring you. So I try to get back to emails. I try to get back to messages on here. I try to get back to DMs on Instagram. So make sure that if you guys have any questions or anything, or ever want to just talk to me, ask me about hair, anything, just always feel free to do that. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.